my point is, this leads to Shraddha. People want to know, well, where does faith come from? Is it just some random thing? No, yes and no. So I'm just trying to clear where this faith comes from and what is the meaning of having great fortune. So faith means what? What does the word faith mean?
Belief.
Real faith.
Belief in something. Is it belief in something you don't see, or belief?
That is quite close. So Shastra says, Shraddha sabde biswas kahe sudridha nishchoy, Krishna bhakti kaile sarva karma krita hoy. So Shraddha is the firm belief. The belief of what? Shraddha is the belief that if I perform bhakti, that everything else will be taken care of. This is the meaning of really having faith in the Supreme Lord. Shraddha sabde biswas kahe sudridha nishchoy. This is a firm belief, a very firm belief, ascertainment that no matter what I do, if I perform bhakti, sarva karma krita hoy. Jai Shri Radha Govinda Ji ki jai. So all my karmas will be completed. All my duties, all my obligations will be taken care of. So someone who has faith, if they just say they have faith, but they're still engrossed in their material world, thinking that, oh, I have faith, but still I have so many other obligations I need to take care of. Does that person really have faith? So he must have some degree of faith. But it is not the actual real faith. Real faith is seeing someone who believes that if I perform bhakti, everything else is taken care of. This is the belief we should strive for. This is the faith we should have. If we don't. The viswas kahe sudridha nishchoy, such a firm belief that just by performing bhakti, everything else is taken care of. This is really called what we call paramarthik, real spiritual faith. Not just a lip service that, oh, I have so much faith in God. No. But real faith. So there's two types of Shraddha actually. One is called Sastra Avadharanamayi Shraddha. Meaning that we read the scriptures, in the scriptures, that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. And from that we have faith. Oh, okay, I believe in the words of scripture. Yes, Krishna is the Supreme Lord. Yes. This is called Sastra Avadharanamayi. It means it is based on the Shastra. It follows the Shastra, the scripture. And another type of faith is called Bhagavad Leela Madhurya Mayi Shraddha. Meaning we hear the beautiful pastimes of the Supreme Lord from any spiritual, fully realized spiritual master. We hear his beauty and sweetness. It's actually, I will describe. So I will describe some of what is called Madhurya, the sweetness of the Supreme Lord. It's a very beautiful subject matter. So later on, if there's time, we will get into what is that Bhagavad Leela Madhurya. What is the sweetness? What is the beauty of the Supreme Lord? This is a very magical, wonderful, amazing thing in our parampara, in our tradition. It is the speciality of this tradition. Actually, in India, in the world, you can go anywhere and you will find people meditating upon the formless absolute, that there is just a void. They're chanting Om and sitting in Padmasana or whatever. And they think that they're having some real spiritual experience. But the speciality of this is that we know what is God, what He looks like, what He does, who are His beloved devotees, how do they serve Him, where He lives. What are all those things? So those things are described in this Srimad Bhagavatam, in the Bhagavad Granthas, in the books of our parampara, of our spiritual masters who have added to that. Jiva Goswami, Gopal Champu, Kavi Karnapur, Vishnu Chagali Thakur. So many of our acharyas have written so many wonderful books. Govinda Leelamrit, Krishnanik, Kaumudi, Gopal Champu, Anand Vrindavan Champu. So many beautiful books are there which describe the real sweetness of the Supreme Lord. And this is unique to this path. That actually the Supreme Lord is very sweet. Not that something we should be afraid of. Not that something is awe and wonder and mysterious. No. Sweetness means that he's a Naravat. He's like a human being. And he behaves in human-like pastime. This is called sweetness. That he goes out and grazes the cows and plays with his friends in the forest. And that they wrestle with the Supreme Lord. And sometimes they defeat the Supreme Lord, even though he's the Supreme Lord. But they don't know that he's the Supreme Lord. In Vrindavan, in Golok Dham, there is no knowledge that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. That God is there eternally in this spiritual realm of Golok Vrindavan. And he's enjoying many wonderful pastimes with his friends, his gopis, the mother and father. This is the Madhurya. But the fact is, no one knows that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. And Krishna himself does not. This is the wonderful thing. This is the beauty of Vrindavan. That there is not even a conception that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. He's just our friend. Gopis, oh, he's my beloved. Mother Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj, he's my son. Chitrak, Patrak, the servants of Krishna, he is like my master. So this is called real Bhagavad Leela Madhurya. If you have faith in hearing about these pastimes of the Lord, that this is a real beauty and sweet, this Supreme Lord, and I want to attain that. I want to realize that this is the Supreme Lord. This is called Bhagavad Leela Madhurya Sadha. That you have faith that this is how beautiful is the Supreme Lord, and you're compelled to perform bhakti. So, this is the sweetness of the Supreme Lord. So I was describing 3 types of devotees there are. So first is called Uttam Adhikari. And there's 3 types. First is called Uttam, and then in the middle is Madhyam, and lowest type is Kanishtha. So 3 classifications of devotees in Bhakti Sadhana. So first, Rupa Goswami defines Sastre Yuktau Cha Nipunaha Sarvata Dridhanishchaya Praudha Shraddho Dhikari Yaha Sabhaktau Uttamo Mata. That means he's expert in the conclusions of Sastra. He knows all the scriptures. Sastre Nipuna. He's expert in all the conclusions of Sastra and logic. And he has a firm faith in the Supreme Lord. So these 2 things are necessary to become the highest class of devotee, according to Rupa Goswami. If anyone says they're a great devotee of the Lord, or anyone pretends to be, or you question, you wonder, well, this is the guideline, this is the scale given to measure who really is devotee of the Lord. So one, they must have perfect knowledge of the Shastra, the scriptures. 1. And 2, Dridha Nischaya, Dridha Shraddha, firm faith in the Supreme Lord. So these 2 things are there. Someone who has these 2 things, he is the highest caliber of devotee. Srimad Bhagavatam, it is described also, another definition is given. Maharaj Nimi is talking to the Navayogendras. So there's a conversation in which the question is asked, please describe the different categories of devotees. And the Navayogendras, these 9 Maharishi, they say, Sarva Bhutesu Yah Pasyed Bhagavad Bhavamatmanaha Bhutani Bhagavatyatmani Esha Bhagavatottamaha. This is a verse from Srimad Bhagavad Purana. That who is the Uttam Bhagavat? Who is the highest class of devotee? Someone who sees in all living beings their connection to the Supreme Lord. Everything he sees, whether it be a living being, a non-living being, everything he sees them in relation to the Supreme Lord. He sees them serving the Supreme Lord. And in the Supreme Lord, he sees the entire manifestation, this entire creation. This is the qualification, or this is the definition of an Uttam Adhikari, highest class of devotee. So, actually, in Chaitanya Leela, there is another discussion of who is a Uttam Adhikari, who is highest class. We must know these things, because by this we're enabled to see really who is a Mahabhagavat, Who is a advanced devotee of the Supreme Lord? Who do we go to for guidance? How will you realize? How will you know? You may just be deceived by somebody. So this is all given in the Shastra so that we know who it is we should take shelter of, who it is we should hear Harikatha from, who it is who should inspire us in bhakti. These things are all given in the Shastras. So we know Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there were some devotees called from Kulingram, one place in India, and they went to Mahaprabhu and they asked a very important question. So they asked, it is said in Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is a wonderful book, Nectarian Pastimes of the Lord Sri Chaitanya. So they asked, Kulingram Purvapat Koila Nivedan Prabhu Agya Karo Amar Kartavya Shadhan Prabhu Kahe Vaishnava Seva Nama Sankirtan Dui Karo Shighra Pade Sri Krishna Charan. Very beautiful poetry written by Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, one of the teachers in our line. The Kulingram Vasi are asking Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that the Prabhu Agya Karo Amar Kartavya Shadhan. O Prabhu, O Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, please command us that what is our kartavya, what is our duty, what do we have to do, number one, and what is the sadhan, what is the means by which we should do that. So these are what a very important question Kulingram Vasi is asking Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu says, Prabhu ko he Vaishnav Seva Nam Sankirtan Dui Karo Sighra Pabe Sri Krishna Charan. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, very simple instruction, but very difficult to actually follow properly. Vaishnav Seva and Nam Sankirtan. Mahaprabhu is saying, your kartavya, your duty, and your practice is Vaishnav Seva. One. Serve the Vaishnavas. Serve the lotus feet of the devotees of the Lord. Because the devotees of the Supreme Lord are more dear than the Supreme Lord is to himself. So you serve those devotees of the Supreme Lord. This is called a Vaishnava Seva. Anything they need, hearing Harikatha from them, giving dear things of your own to them, accepting what he is telling you, following what he's saying, these all come under the platform of Vaishnava Seva. This is what we must do according to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu, from his own lotus mouth, this instruction is coming. And it has been recorded by his devotees, Sharup Damodar and Rai Ramananda. And Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami has written this in Chaitanya Charitamrita. This Chaitanya Charitamrita Grantha is the cream of all Vedic scripture. Like Srimad Bhagavatam is the fruit. But the very essence of that fruit, the very thick, most sweet, most nectarian most part of all Vedic Sastra, of all knowledge in humanity is contained within this book, Chaitanya Charitamrita. This is another book. This is called Prabhupada's postgraduate study of Vedic literature, Chaitanya Charitamrita. So in this we find the essence. How do we understand Srimad Bhagavatam? How do we understand the Vedic scripture? How do we understand the mood of our Goswamis? What they actually are saying? Then this Chaitanya Charitamrita is given for that purpose. It was written after the 6 Goswamis wrote their books on Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So it is the essence, the proper understanding of the Goswamis. It is the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Upanishad, Ved, Puran. All these things are contained within this Chaitanya Charitamrita. So this is a book. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, one of our, the guru of Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, he said we can lose any book. Say there is a disaster and we lose Gita. Say we lose the Bhagavatam. Say we lose all of the Shastra. But if this book is there, Chaitanya Charitamrita, then nothing has been lost. Everything is in this book. This is such a powerful book because it is the true conception of what is bhakti, what is our goal. And this instruction, just 2 lines, is just a drop, not even a drop, just the fragrance of this book. Prabhu kohe Vaishnav Seva Nam Sankirtan Dui Karo Sighra Pabe Sri Krishna Charan. And Nam Sankirtan. So first Prabhu says, Mahaprabhu is saying, Perform Vaishnava Seva. Serve the Vaishnavas. With your mind, with your heart, with your soul, with your body. Serve them in any way you can. Vaishnava means the devotees of the Lord. This is number one instruction. And second, perform Nam Sankirtan. What is Nam Sankirtan? Everybody chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is called Nam Sankirtan. When we chanting the holy names of the Lord, this is Mahaprabhu's second most instruction to the Kulin Grambasi. They're asking, they're offering themselves, Mahaprabhu, please tell me what is my duty? What am I supposed to do? And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, you perform Vaishnava Seva and Nam Sankirtan. These are two things. Simple instruction. But we must take this to our heart and follow it. This is called really reading Shastra, really understanding Shastra. One may become a big Pandit. One may become a great scholar and know all the shlokas, all the verses, all the conclusions. He may have some material knowledge of this, but if he does not follow this in his own life, then this does not have anything. This does not do anything for him. This is just a useless thing. So we should read this Chaitanya Charitamrita, we should read the Srimad Bhagavatam, but what is in there, we must follow that. Then we're really reading Shastra. Then the Queen Grambasi asked, Teho kohe ke Vaishnav ki tar lakhan, tabe hasi kohe Prabhu jani tar man. Krishna naam nirantar jahar badane, sei Vaishnav shrestha bhaja tahara charane. So this Kulin Grambasi asking Mahaprabhu that, you've told us to do Vaishnava Seva, service to the devotees of the Lord. But who is the devotee of the Lord? You have to tell us first, otherwise how will we serve them? So this is the Kulin Grambasi asking this question to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Very important instruction. Baladeva has asked and discussed this many times. So he is saying, Krishna Nam Nirantar Jahara Padane Sai Vaishnav Shrestha Bhaja Tahara Charan. In whose mouth the name of the Lord is always being chanted. Krishna Nam, the name of the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. In whose mouth this name is always being uttered and causing others to utter this, then this person is a Vaishnava Shrestha. He is the topmost class of Vaishnava. And you should serve this type of Vaishnava. Another meaning of Uttam Vaishnava, highest type of devotee, is by seeing this devotee, the word Krishna automatically comes upon your lips. This is the real definition of Uttam Adhikari, one of them. That by seeing this devotee, automatically you remember the Supreme Lord. Uttam Adhikari. Actually, there is a story, in our ashram in India, so we have one ashram in a place called Mathura, which is one of the places Krishna appeared in India. And our ashram there is called Kesavji Gaudiya Math. If anyone of you ever goes to India, you must visit this place. This is where Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada, he received sannyas from my Param Gurudev Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj. And so this place, there was one devotee living, and at that time, a long time ago, Srila Gurudev used to personally look after all of the devotees there very closely. And at that time, some of them were just boys, maybe 10 years old, 11 years old. They were living in the ashram, very austere conditions. Only one fan. In the summertime, it reaches maybe 50 degrees Celsius plus, very hot. So anyhow, this one devotee was there, one boy, and he was a very mischief person. He was actually from Bengal. And so they speak Bengali in Bengal. This is a different language. And in Mathura, they speak Hindi. So there's two different languages. But he learned Hindi so well that it appeared like he was just from that place, Mathura. So he was a very mischievous boy. He would go to all the pandas. I don't know, do you know, panda is like the chief of that area, devotional head, kind of the town, Mathura. And the Panda is responsible for taking people to the local holy places and explaining the significance of that place. So this little boy would go to the Pandas and be so mischievous. And he would chastise them, yell at them, pull their sikha, slap them, steal things from them. And he would talk in such a way in the local language that people would ask him, "Who are you? What are you doing?" There's some nonsense person. Get away from, go away from here. We'll chastise you, we'll beat you. And this boy said, "You don't know me? I'm the son of the Panda. I'm from this place. You cannot do anything to me," because in that area, Pandas are the family which you cannot touch. They're like considered like transcendental, just like the holy Dham. So by this he would, and so this is the one devotee was there, and he was so angry and distracted. This boy was so mischievous. He's saying, Gurudev, when I hear in the Shastra that just by seeing an Uttamadhikari, the holy name comes upon your tongue. But when I see this boy, the holy name runs away from my tongue. I don't even remember the holy name. I forget the holy name. So this is one story that is there. But the point is that when we see a devotee, if we remember Krishna, then this is the litmus test. This is the test we know, this is a real devotee. This is called Uttamadhikari. Then there is Madhyamadhikari. Yash Shastradishva Nipunah Shraddhavan Satu Madhyama. Means he has firm faith in the Supreme Lord, but his knowledge in the Shastra, in the scripture, is not that strong. This is called a Madhyamadhikari. And then Kanishtha-adhikari. Yo bhavet Kanishtha Shraddha. Yo bhavet Komal Shraddha Sa Kanishtha Nigadyate. One who does not know Shastra that well, does not know the scriptures that well. And also his faith is very weak. He is a Kanishtha. There's one slok also. Archayam eva hari pujayam yasradhaye hate. Natad bhakti suchanyisu sabhakta prakadasmata. The lowest class of devotee, he has faith when he sees the Lord. There's something spiritual going on. I have faith in the Supreme Lord, but I have no faith in his devotees. These people are useless people. They're bogus people. I do not know them. I don't accept them. This is the symptom of lowest class devotee. So when you see a devotee chastising other devotees from our institution, other institutions, when there is some chastisement, no matter what the issue is, know immediately this person is the lowest class of devotee. Because real devotee will never ever chastise any of the devotee. This is the symptom of lowest class behavior. What to speak of a jiva, any other living being, but to chastise another devotee, this is the worst sin, not even a sin. This is what we call aparad. This will deter us from spiritual life. So this is called aparad. So do not ever perform this, and if you see anyone performing this, you should know this person is the lowest class of devotee. One more thing I want to describe about bhakti. Some people think, I have so many debts and obligations to my family, my job, my house, I have to take care of this and that. I cannot perform bhakti. I have too many obligations. Bhakti is just not for me. It requires too much. I cannot perform bhakti. This is just, too difficult. So, Rupa Goswami says that actually, one who enters bhakti, one who begins to perform bhakti properly, even if he unknowingly commits some sin, if he unknowingly commits some offense, does a misdeed, then there is no need to worry for that. If someone is sincerely taking shelter of the Supreme Lord. One famous verse, Devrasi bhutaptrinam pitranam ajo kinkara na yamrinicha rajan sarvatvana yas saranam saranyam gato mukundam parihritya kartam. Very, very wonderful verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. Saying that one who takes to the practice of the bhakti, one who takes shelter of the Supreme Lord, he has no debt to any other demigods, to any forefathers, to your family, to anybody at all. One who takes shelter of bhakti, he has no obligation to anyone else. So why is that? People think this is, what is he saying? This is a crazy thing. You're telling me that I should just give up and just perform bhakti. Why would you tell me that? So actually the Supreme Lord is the maintainer and controller of the entire material universe and the spiritual universe. Anyone who takes shelter of Him, then why is there a doubt that we will not be taken care of? Why is there a doubt that our family will not be taken care of? Why is there a doubt that the show will not go on? Because the Supreme Lord is in control of everything. See, this is our knowledge, our ignorance, that we think that we are doing anything. We think I'm the boss of this company, I'm the leader of this household, oh, I'm doing so many things without me, nothing is going on. But actually, the Supreme Lord is the one who is performing everything. So if one takes to this practice of bhakti wholeheartedly, then there is no slip, he may run with his eyes closed, but he will never slip and fall. Even if it appears that he gives up the practice of bhakti, even if it appears that he performs some improper activity, but in his next life he will continue where he leaves. So this practice of bhakti is so strong spiritually that we can give up any of all of our obligations and just perform bhakti. This is the essence of Shastra. Just surrender to the Supreme Lord. Just surrender to the devotees and chant His glories. This is the real essence of the Shastra. So I think time is getting short and people's patience is running short as well. But this is called Vaidhi Bhakti, when we're inspired by Shastra to perform bhakti. But there is a statement in Chaitanya Charitamrita. He says, Sakala Jagate more kori vidhi bhakti. This is a very famous verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Sakala Jagate more kori vidhi bhakti. Vidhi bhakti brajo bhav paite nahi sakti. Aishwara jnanete shab jagata misrit. Aishwara shithila prem nahi mori preet. Aishwara jnane vidhi bhajan koriya. Vaikuntha jai chaturvidha mukti payan. So this vidhi bhakti, when we perform bhakti according to the injunctions of Shastra, then this is mixed with what we call Aishwarya Gyan. What is Aishwarya Gyan? Aishwarya Gyan means knowledge of the Lord's majesty. So there's two aspects of the Supreme Lord. One is called Aishwarya, meaning that the Lord is the controller. The Lord is the supreme. Without Him, He performs the creation, the destruction, and the maintenance of the Supreme Lord, of the world. This is called Aishwarya Gyan, that Krishna is God. And what is Madhurya Gyan? That Krishna is not God. This is the real meaning of Madhurya. That actually, Krishna is my friend. Krishna is my beloved. Krishna is my son or daughter. Like this. When we have this type of knowledge, this is called Madhurya, sweetness. It is not full of Aishwarya. So understand these two things. Because if we want to attain the lotus feet of Radha Krishna, we must give up this conception that Krishna is God. This is very deep, esoteric thing. Give up the understanding that Krishna is God and accept Him like He is your friend, like He is your beloved. When you take Diksha, this is what Gurudev tells us. That I'm giving you a new relationship with the Supreme Lord. That now from today forward He is your beloved. This is when we realize this, we have really, really taken Diksha. Some people think they've taken Diksha, they're chanting the Diksha mantras, and they think I've taken Diksha. But this is just what we call Anusthanic. You've just performed the ceremony of taking Diksha. Really, you attain Diksha, Divya Gyan, when you realize your constitutional form and how you are serving the Supreme Lord. This is called Diksha. Not just going and giving some play to the spiritual master and hearing the mantra and chanting, every day like this, I'm chanting the mantra and I think I'm a devotee. No. Real Diksha comes when you realize your nature with the Supreme Lord. This is Diksha. And to attain that, to attain Radha and Krishna in Goloka, you must give up this Aishwarya Gyan and accept Madhurya Gyan. Give up the knowledge that Krishna is the supreme controller and accept the knowledge that Krishna is the most sweetest of sweet. So there is one discussion in Chaitanya Charitamrita I want to discuss called in the Sanatana Shiksha. Mahaprabhu is instructing Sri Sanatana Goswami. And it's very sweet and beautiful part of Chaitanya Charitamrita. One of the most sweet, nectarian part of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Everyone who has not read Chaitanya Charitamrita, this is a must-read book in our Sampradaya. You must read Chaitanya Charitamrita and Srimad Bhagavatam. This is such a beautiful book. Once you start reading, you'll not be able to stop these books. This is such a wonderful sastra. So there's Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who descended 500 years ago to propagate this path of sweetness, or Raga Marga Bhakti, meaning how to have a spontaneous, loving attachment to the Supreme Lord. This is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come to give. So this is maybe, I hope it is not too difficult to understand all these things, but I'm trying to explain them in such a way. So Mahaprabhu is teaching Sanatana Goswami, who is the brother of Rupa Goswami, who has written this book, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. His brother, his name is Sanatana Goswami, and these two are such exalted devotees that the goal of our spiritual practice is to serve Rupa Goswami. Because really, in the spiritual world, where Radha and Krishna are performing their pastimes, Rupa Goswami is there serving them in his form as a gopi. And we call that spiritual form Rupa Manjari. So these are very, very extremely high topics. I mean, I shudder and I feel like I don't have the qualification to describe them, but we must, so that we have an idea of the goal, of what is the goal. And the goal is to serve Rupa Manjari, who is serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sri Rupa Manjari Pada Se Mora Sampada Se Mora Bhajana Pujan. The Rupa Manjari, he is my real wealth. This is meaning, if you are a Raganuga sadhak, if you consider yourself really a practitioner of bhakti, then you must have this understanding. Sri Rupa Manjari Pada Se Mora Sampada. Sri Rupa Manjari is my wealth, really my wealth. Not anything else in this material world, not my mother, not my father, not my job, not my car, not my home, not my beloved, not my boyfriend, not my girlfriend, etc. and so on. No, my sampada, my wealth, he is only Rupa Manjari. She is Rupa Manjari, who is serving the Supreme in Goloka Vrindavan. And they have descended from that supreme world to this world to give us all of these wonderful spiritual truths, to save us, to rescue us. Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami have been commanded by Sri Radha Krishna. Directly, you go and you give this teaching to the jivas, to the spirit soul. Rescue them from this material world. This is a real service. So they're performing service in the spiritual world, and also they're performing service in this material world to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In this material world, we see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes to rescue us, the fallen jivas, from suffering in this material world. And in the spiritual world, Radha Krishna are there being served by Sri Rupa Manjari, Sri Rati Manjari. So many Manjaris are there. And our goal ultimately is to go there and serve Rupa Manjari. This is under the guidance of our spiritual master, who is also, when you receive Diksha, this is told to you, that the spiritual master has a spiritual form in the material world. And he is also a Sakhi, serving Sri Radha and Krishna. And we are serving him. This is the highest of highest things. I mean, just saying them is one thing. Only in a matter of hundreds of thousands of lives we can even dream of something like that. But still, this is what our Guru Parampara has given. This is the highest conception. You will not find this anywhere in the universe, in the world. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is explaining how to do this. First we must have Madhurya Gyan. What is the sweetness of the Lord? Without having the sweetness, knowledge of the sweetness, you cannot attain Vrindavan Dham. If you have Aishwarya Gyan, knowledge that Krishna is the Lord, Krishna is the controller, you can attain Vaikuntha, you can attain even Dwarka. But even you cannot attain Dwarka with just Aishwarya. You must have knowledge of Madhurya. And so what is that Madhurya? So Mahaprabhu is explaining to Sanatana Goswami. Aishwarya kohite prabhur Krishna spurti hoilo, Madhurya moijilo mana eka shloka podilo. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has been describing the Aishwarya, the opulence, the majesty of the Supreme. And when he was describing this within his mind, within his heart, he had a spurti, means a vision of the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. And his mind became drowned in the sweetness of that form. So the direct result of this spurti of Mahaprabhu is being told in this Chaitanya Charitamrita. This is why it is such an important grantha. This Chaitanya Charitamrita is not just a book, it is not just a mundane scripture, but it is a divine experience. This book is the doorway to having divine experience and realization of the Supreme Lord. That is why Sastra is non-different than the Supreme Lord himself. This is called really Bhagavad Sastra, Chaitanya Charitamrita. That is why it is a nectar. It gives you this knowledge. So this is Mahaprabhu's experience. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is explaining these things in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So he says, quoting one verse, Yan martya lilopaikam swayoga maya balam darshayata grihitam vismapanam swasya chaso bhagarde param padam bhushana bhusanandam. To exhibit the strength of his own spiritual potency, Lord Krishna manifested a form just suitable for his pastimes in the material world. This form was wonderful even for him and was the supreme abode of the wealth of good fortune. Its limbs were so beautiful that they increased the beauty of the ornaments worn on different parts of his body. So this is, Mahaprabhu is going to explain the beauty of Sri Krishna. This is one of the most sweet parts of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. So time is coming short, but so maybe I'll just take a few more minutes briefly just to speak this most nectarian part of Chaitanya Charitamrita, because it's a very sweet part of Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Time for any questions?
Yeah, we'll also.
Nanda was some time ago I asked Gurudev on the beach that why the spiritual the jiva meet a Mahabhagavat by chance, since this word is by causality, not by casuality. You found? Unfortunately, he answered, but it was too windy and I couldn't hear it. By any chance, do you know the answer?
That how jiva comes in contact with the...
Yes, because the Jaiva Dharma says by chance.
Yeah, this is the point.
Yeah, but by chance means chance, and I thought that this word was about causality, not casuality.
Yes, but ultimately Bhaktivinoda Thakur says everything comes about by chance. Everything begins from chance. This is a deep philosophical conclusion Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives. I mean, how are you supposed to come in contact with seeing a spiritual personality? This is the chance. Ultimately, the Supreme Lord is the cause, but it lies in the fact that bhakti itself is the cause of bhakti. So bhakti has no cause other than bhakti. What does that mean? When Bhakti Devi bestows the mercy on any jiva, causelessly, then the jiva can understand and attain bhakti. So this is a causeless thing. Our entrance into the path of bhakti is only by causeless mercy. You have not done anything. We do not do anything to be here. We have not done anything on our own power. This is only the mercy of Bhakti Devi that we're here.
On the other hand, some years later, I asked Gurudev at the Miami airport that why I met him. Me and another devotee we asked why we met, and he told us by past Sukriti. So,
well, that's what I mean. But the Sukriti itself is rooted. What is the cause of Sukriti then, you can ask? You see, the question ultimately goes back that Bhakti Devi itself bestows. Okay, Bhakti Devi is saying, this jiva, now you have the Sukriti. You see? And then by that Sukriti you attain the association of Mahabhagavat. Bhakti is causeless. Ahitaki.
I understand now.
Now, see? So I want to continue this very sweet part of Chaitanya Charitamrita, just briefly, and then we'll have Arti and maybe some more questions. So he is saying, Mahaprabhu is saying, Krishner madhur roop shuna shanatan, je roop ek kan Dubai shabat tribhuvan sharva prani kore akarsan. Krishna Madhur Roop Shuna Sanatan. O Sanatan, listen to the wonderful sweet form of the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. Because one drop of that sweetness of the Supreme Lord can drown the three worlds. And it attracts all of the living beings. So he goes on and says, Rupa dekhi apanar Krishner hailo chamatkar ashwadite mane uthikam shasho bhagya jaranam shaundarjadi gunagram e rupa nitya taradham. The wonderful form of Krishna in his personal feature is so great that it attracts even Krishna to taste his own association. Indeed, Krishna becomes very eager to taste it. Total beauty, knowledge, wealth, strength, fame, and renunciation are the 6 opulences of Krishna. He is eternally situated in his opulences. Krishna himself is so bewildered with his own beauty that he has to take another form just to experience his own beauty. And that is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Why does Krishna come as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Because he is so bewildered at his own beauty and how it drives Radha Rani crazy that he's thinking, what is she seeing that is so beautiful? So Krishna must take the form of another, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and descend upon this world to understand his own beauty. This is the sweetness of Krishna. Bhusaner bhusana anga tahak lalita tribhanga tahara upara brudhano nartan terache netrantaban tara dridha shandhan bindhe radha gopi kanaman. Such a beautiful. So this verse is saying padam padam param padam bhushana bhushanangam. So we wear, in this material world, we wear ornaments to make ourselves look more attractive. But in the spiritual world, Krishna makes the ornaments look more attractive. So Krishna is the Bhusana Bhusanangam. He is the ornament of all ornaments. This is the ornaments caress that body, but this transcendental body of Krishna is so beautiful that it beautifies the ornaments he wears. Therefore, Krishna's body is said to be the ornament of ornaments. Enhancing the beautiful beauty of Krishna is the 3-curved style of standing. Above all these beautiful features, Krishna's eyes dance and move obliquely, acting like arrows to pierce the minds of Srimati Radharani and the gopis. When the arrow succeeds in hitting its target, their minds become agitated. So this is a very sweet part of Chaitanya Charitamrita, but time is so short. My point is that when we hear these sweet pastimes of Sri Krishna, the sweet description of Sri Krishna, and our hearts become attracted to try and serve that, to try and attain that, to try and catch a glimpse of that, then this is called Madhurya. This is called attaining, coming from the Vaidhi Bhakti into Raganuga. When your heart has a natural desire to attain what is the beauty of Sri Krishna, then you are becoming a Rupanuga, really Rupanuga Gauriya Vaishnava. So I'll end there. Mancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kata Sindhu Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. I beg all of your obeisances millions and millions of times. I put some of you to sleep. I apologize for that. I hope that by the mercy of my spiritual master and all the Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis, we can all come to a higher platform of understanding of bhakti and make progress on this path, and one day attain the lotus feet of Sri Sri Radha and Krishna. So any questions that are there, I'm happy to answer briefly, and we can.
How many questions are there? I want to ask you one. To perform bhakti, we have to follow 4 regulations, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that is, last week, we have to be very careful on the regulations because there is Maya everywhere. So, what is the plus after the 4 regulations? Because how to become really bhakti.
This is a good point, actually. Because these things are very emphasized. We have 4 regulations. If you want to begin, you want just to think of beginning the path of spiritual life, you have to follow these 4 regular principles. First is no meat eating, no eating eggs, fish, onion, garlic, these things. No taking intoxications, alcohol, any other drugs. no illicit sex, and no gambling. So these are the 4 regular principles we must follow. But just following these things doesn't mean bhakti. If you say you're following these things, doesn't mean that you're following bhakti. It just means that you're following these principles. What this does is it puts you in a state of mind that is favorable to the practice of spiritual life. If you're not following these 4 things, then your mind will not be inclined really to practice spiritual life. So then once you have taken these vows to follow this, then you take shelter of a spiritual master and listen from him. Really, what is it that you need to do? And this is explained in this book, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, Smaranam Pada Sevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Satyamatma Nivedanam.
We live in United States and there is a lot of food with garlic and onion, right?
Mm.
But it is a big problem, but I'm talking about eggs, there is egg all over, Sometimes we don't take really attention about the egg, What do you recommend on this situation? Because
my recommendation is that we must follow what the acharyas have told us. They do not tell these things for no reason. I realize that it's difficult, very difficult living here, especially for everything. You go to the supermarket and sometimes they don't even put what's on there. But anyhow, we must try as hard as we possibly can to follow this. There's no room for any leeway. Especially if you've taken Diksha, you must follow these things.
So everything that you serve is we should practice Krishna service with really happiness and love, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't see sometimes that we really like to do service, and especially here. So what do you recommend on this? Because we should be very happy to do service.
This is nothing strange. Anyone in this material world has a natural inclination to want to enjoy. It means you're normal, basically.
Right.
If you want to.
We should enjoy it.
Right, no, but we should not. We should enjoy serving. Let me finish. My point is that our natural proclivity in this world is to want to enjoy. Okay? But if we don't have that inspiration to perform service, if we're not finding happiness in service, then the only recourse is to take association of the sadhus.
But what about family that they don't perform that? Association that they don't, we have to bargain for service. We are young, new on the association, and we have to push to service. And that is some situation that I see sometimes.
That's why it's a spiritual practice. I mean, really, you would think that we have such nice harikatha, such nice kirtan, such nice prasadam. The deities are so beautiful. I mean, how much more easier can we make it? Really?
No, I don't talk. I'm sorry, I don't talk.
No. But I mean, my point is that spiritual practice, it requires some discipline. It's not easy, because for billions and billions of lifetimes we've been enjoying in this material world. So you can't expect that in one day, 1 year, 1 lifetime you're going to change that. But by staying in the association of the devotees, by hearing the sweetness of the pastimes of the Lord from such realized souls, that greed, that happiness will come. Actually, happiness, we can't do anything to produce that. All of this is coming in the spiritual parampara from our Guru, our Guru's Guru. This is all being bestowed upon us. Any bliss you experience, any happiness you experience, that's just the mercy of your spiritual master. So really, if that's the case, you need to, that's why I say take association of the spiritual master. That's the only solution.
What is Shiva in our heart? Because I'm very attracted to Shiva.
Mm-hmm.
What is Shiva exactly in our heart?
So Shiva, so there is a Shiva is, we consider, in Bhagavatam we've heard, Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambhu. Means Shivji is the most highest class of Vaishnava. What does that mean? We always see Shiva sitting like this in meditation. Parvati is there. He has a snake, serpent wrapped around his neck. So Shivji is meditating always upon the wonderful pastimes of the Supreme Lord Radha and Krishna. So Shivaji actually we worship as a devotee of the Lord. Shivaji is not the Supreme Lord, but he's a devotee of the Supreme Lord. So that's how we should look at Shivaji. It's okay to have attraction towards Shivaji. There's nothing wrong with that. But must have the proper understanding. Some people just chant, Soham, I am Shiva, I am this, I am that. No. Shivaji is a Vaishnava. And Shivaji worships the divine couple.
Another question. Radharani it is married, and the lover is Krishna. I heard about it. So what is mean in the material world that Radharani is married and the lover is Krishna? What is means in the material world? What is the consciousness about?
This is, first of all, Radha and Krishna are not married.
No. Radharani is married with somebody else.
Yes.
And the lover is Krishna. So your realization about this. Then I realized something and I want to be exactly my
Okay.
realization.
I'll answer your question, but we have to end here because I think...
That's it.
yeah, we will answer the question. I suppose it's worthwhile to address this point anyway. It's a very deep siddhanta, this topic, and very advanced. So first thing we have to realize is that this relationship between Radha and Krishna is not a material thing whatsoever. This is a completely spiritual, transcendental relationship. So we cannot conceive of it like, oh, they're boyfriend, girlfriend, like this and that. No. That they're the Supreme Lord. And Rupa Goswami has given a very detailed example. Basically, the simple response I can give you is that the love between a lover and beloved, because they cannot meet openly, so this is a much higher level of love compared to a married couple. Because they're following the societal regulations. It's natural for them to be together, natural for them to associate. But when a lover and beloved cannot associate with one another, then that love reaches such a higher state than just being married. This is the reason they're not married. This is a arrangement of Yogamaya Devi Purnamasi. She's making this arrangement that they're not married on purpose, because the level of love that is reached between Radha and Krishna is much more higher than it is if they would be married. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Actually, in the material world, it's almost the same sometimes. When you marry, and you are...
But you cannot make this equivalency between the material world and spiritual, because this is like, thinking like this is a very dangerous and poisonous way of thinking.
Yeah, but I realize that if we, even if we can be married or anything, our lover is supposed to be above, that is Krishna, and no one else, not Krishna. So, to be, if you want to...
But even Krishna, I'm getting worried we're going too long here, but I'll just settle these doubts because I think they're in many people's mind. Many people wonder about this. So Krishna is our beloved, but not in the sense that we are aspiring to have a relationship with him in the way that Radharani and the gopis do. Our goal is to serve Radharani. Radharani is our Swamini. So there's Sakhi Bhav and there's Manjavi Bhav. Sakhi Bhav, they want to compete with Radharani and say, I also want to enjoy with Krishna. Krishna, you're my beloved. Oh Radharani, please arrange for us to meet with Krishna. In Vrindavan you hear Radhe Radhe Syam Milade, Radhe Radhe Syam Milade, very popular chant in Vrindavan, but this is actually not our mood. We don't chant this because we're not here to have a relationship with Krishna in that way. We're here to serve Radharani under the guidance of Rupa Manjari and our Gaudiya Parampara. You see? So it's not like Krishna is my beloved like that. He is, but not in the sense we are competing to have a conjugal relationship with him. So these are very deep things. I don't want to take any of more of your time, and I appreciate you've all given me an